We're on. I'm back. It's good to be back. I do have to say that I'm a little rusty, so I will probably fumble my way through this vlog, but I really was looking forward to being able to record this. Before we go any further, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what happened, why I was absent for so long, because some of you are not aware. I have had surgery 3 weeks ago. I'm officially supposed to be still recovering, but I put an end to that last weekend. I'm fine. I haven't seen my surgeon yet, but I'm seeing her in a couple of weeks, and I'm sure that I will pass with flying colors. All this to say that I hadn't been feeling well probably since before Christmas, but it wasn't so bad. However, on the evening of the 4th of February, which is right after I taught at Scrapbook Central, and it seems like ages ago, man. Woo! Teenage talk. Yes, so I was transported by ambulance to emergency because we thought that we were having a heart attack. It turns out my heart's fine, so it's great. I had an acute pancreatitis, and it was determined that I had gallbladder stones. That wasn't the big issue. We were a little bit scared about whether it had affected the pancreas, so I was sent home after 5 days in the hospital with a heavy diet of no fat and interspersed with fasting in between. No water, no liquids, no food, nothing. So my energy was at a super low. I lost 31 pounds. Actually, at that time, I'd lost 29 pounds before I went back a second time to the hospital. So 29 pounds in a little bit less than a month. So all this time I was in pain, and I had to finish recording my class, which was due to come out, my online class, which was due to come out on March the 6th. So we decided to postpone that because on that day I went back to the hospital, and this time I had surgery. So the reason why it took so long is because they wanted to make sure that there was no blockage anywhere else and that the pancreas had not been affected. So I was waiting for an MRI. I couldn't get an appointment. You know, when you're sent home, they really don't care. So, but the pains were getting worse and worse, and I was having pancreatitis over pancreatitis. Like, the attacks were really bad. And the last one I had, finally, I said, no, that's ridiculous. So I called 911 again because I live alone. I can't really drive to the hospital if I'm in pain. So they came to get me again. And this time I saw a surgeon at the ER, which was a mover and shaker. And she said, no, you can't. They determined that I've had 3 severe attacks. And she said, no, you can't. We can't send you home like this. This is ridiculous. So we rushed through everything. The MRI I had in no time. At one point, they were going to send me to another hospital outside of where I live, so in Montreal, to get this other kind of surgery, which I ended up not needing. Thank goodness. The MRI was fine. And so then I had the surgery and they removed the gallbladder, and the next day I was hopping. I really wanted to get out of the hospital. So I had surgery on Friday night at 9 o'clock. I was the last one in a long list of surgeries on that day, which was a holiday. And my surgeon did 10 surgeries on that day. It was the last one to go in, and I almost skipped to the ER, to the OR, because I really wanted that thing out. And came back, and then the next day at 3 o'clock I was back at home, and you know, I'm great. I feel fine now. I still am nauseous whenever I eat, but it kind of goes away, so it's fine. I'm sure there's no complications. So, but that is the reason why I was so absent, and I'm very happy to report that the 31 pounds now that I have lost have not been put back. I want to bring that number down, so as soon as I can, I want to go back to the gym downstairs and exercise, because summer is coming. Before I forget, I have had to cancel my P.O. box because it was too pricey. Don't send me anything anymore. That address I'm going to take off from my YouTube description. So if you really do want to send me something, just contact me and we'll figure something out. Okay, so I'm going to show you some art, and then at the end I'm going to talk to you about my online class. For reals this time. Everything is done. It's happening. 2 days ago or something. Don't ask me. I did this one with oil pastels. I need to challenge myself more. So I have oil pastels that I don't use often. I am not very well versed in oil pastels. I had some difficulties. Not crazy about the shine, the reflection of this though, but whatever. But yeah, I came up with this one. I used the reference material. I used like 2 different photos. One for the mouth and one for the upper part of her face. And the hair, I don't know. I wanted to try red hair, and I think it was successful. I really liked the red hair. It was fun. It was fun to do, but the challenge with oil pastel that I had for this, and I think I figured it out, is my underpainting, because I had an acrylic underpainting, and some of the acrylics that I was using was a little bit glossy. Not super glossy, but not completely matte. So I think for the pastels to really grip on the paper, you need something matte, maybe like a super matte paint like Paper Artsy, which I was just gifted with some recently. Thank you, Gigi. So I'm gonna try that, or watercolor paper. A lot of people have said like, use watercolor paper because watercolor paper with an underpainting of watercolor. So that is going to work as well. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to push a little bit. I'm going to investigate and experiment a little bit more. But it was fun to do, and I enjoy. I mean, I like the outcome, but the process was arduous because I didn't know what I was doing. So that's why I said when I posted it on Instagram, I said not my favorite. I wasn't referring to the final painting. I was referring to the process, and I should have I should have outlined that. Okay. Now, the thing that I'm most proud of is this drawing. Oh, I love it so much. It's wrong. I know. I need to get out of the mentality that it's wrong to like your own artwork, but just the fact that my daughter actually said she liked it, because she's an amazing portraitist. But I did this portrait of this. Okay, so this little guy here. Oh, I need to plug my, hold on for a sec. I need to plug you in. That's what he said. So this is not a girl, by the way. This is a guy, a little guy. Sorry, Damien. I fell in love with the imagery. He looks like a cherub, like a small angel. And I have to show you the original. So what I did is I took a screen capture of the video that I was watching, and I drew him. And I drew it with colored pencils. So here's the original. I'm going to try and show you without moving. So that's the original. That's the video screen capture. And this is the, here. It's because I have a very strong light right here. There we go. And he's wearing green, kind of like tears. I didn't like that green, so I made them gold. Of course, because gold! really like the way it turned out. I'm gonna have a photo at the end so that you can appreciate it. I am super proud of it. I love, the big challenge was to do the eyebrow peeking through his hair because he's got gray hair. And so that was a real challenge because, I mean, you can't do the eyebrow before you do the hair because otherwise you won't be able to see the hair. I mean, you can't do light to over dark with colored pencils, but I had such a good time. I keep showing it to you because I'm really proud of it. But I had such a good time shading everything. It was just fun. And the pencil marks are showing in the background, but I like the effect. This is like, I didn't want to blend anything. I didn't use a stump. This is strictly colored pencil from start to finish. And then the shading, I've never really had a problem with shading. I know that a lot of people do. And I understand that it's always kind of like a deterrent for not doing any like realistic portraits or anything like that. But for me, shading, I think, is the easiest when I use colored pencils. Just because it's such a soft medium and it's so progressive, you can layer and layer and layer until you get the right color. And I enjoy the process so much. This is what got me through my convalescence, actually, and I'm quite proud of it. So go back onto your easel, Jimin. I can show you what I did for my patrons for their March rewards. So I did some mixed media art boards. This is done with silks. I love the shine of silks. And some glass bead gel. There's black glazing over that. And I added a couple of quotes, inspirational quotes. This is another one. I have a little paper because these are going to 4 of my patrons, but this is another one here. This one says, experience the joy of art. Same process. So this is repurposing 4 little art boards that I had in my stash. It had watercolor paints over them and I didn't like the outcome. So it was just like a whole bunch of colors. And I used circles and leaves, cut it into watercolor paper as well, glued those down, and then covered everything up with gesso and silks. I love this one too. Create for yourself. That's part of my motto. And this one is, what does it say? Oh, it goes this way. Dare to play. I like this one too. A lot of fun. So, my online class is called Watercolor Carving, and it is already up for pre-sale. Yes, I will leave the link below. I will probably flash it on the screen. It will go live on April 10th. There is no time limit. It's accessible 24/7. You can do it at your own pace. It will, as long as the internet exists, it will be available. I will show you some of the artwork that I did. I will not show you the class projects because, I mean, that's the fun part, but you've already seen some of them because I've been doing this technique for the past 6 months, and I know a lot of you have been really curious about it. I will share this one with you here. I have one behind me. This I've shared already on Instagram, but this is part of the technique that I'm showing in my class, and I do love this piece. This is very intuitive, by the way, but there are 2 different approaches to the class. There's a planned approach and an intuitive approach. So don't let that fool you. And by the way, don't let the title fool you. It is not carving with a knife. The carving is done with a paintbrush, okay? So just so you know, and it is watercolor, as the title says. So there's one right here. I love this one. I love them all. They're all my babies. This one, I have a story to share with you, but oh, I'm sorry about that big light. I should have done something else. But, okay, so here, if I tilt it down, here. But you see that little girl here? Oh, here. Okay, so you see that, sorry. You see that little girl here? There's a story behind this. I'll let you look at the whole piece. I really truly love this. I call this In Through the Outdoor. I'm dating myself, but I still am a huge Led Zeppelin fan, and one of the albums was called In Through the Outdoor, and when I saw this door, that I was reminded of that. But that little girl, one of my patrons sent me a story that blew my mind, and it actually made me cry. Tears of joy, because it's amazing how sometimes art touches people. But for this piece, she wrote, "If you only knew the road we've walked this past week," I'm not going to name her, "with a little wee girl, 5 months old, you'd know why the tears are running down my cheeks as I look at this." That got me already going. I thought, oh gosh, what happened? "After open heart surgery the 14th, almost losing her during the week, I guess. This afternoon, they put in pacer wires, closed her chest, and took her off the pacer just to see. And her heart took off like it's supposed to. A beautiful surprise, just like your girl. This painting is beautiful, just like our miracle girl." I mean, how can you not react to this? This brought tears, and I'm like, it's amazing how a piece of art can touch someone else. It's not the most perfect piece of art, that's not what I'm saying, but the feelings that it conjured, you know, in this person, it's just amazing. And it just happened to have been posted on the same day. And that girl, this is going to sound really kooky, okay? But she wasn't planned. Nothing about this was planned. And all of a sudden, I remember working in this area, and then all of a sudden I saw this long scarf. The girl wasn't there. Like, nothing was there. This was a mess of colors. That's all it was. That's how it starts. And then slowly I thought, what if that scarf was wound around a little girl's head, and she reminded me of Little Red Riding Hood. Of course, she's green, but... And that's how she came to be. And all of a sudden, it's like I'm receiving this message from one of my patrons. It's just amazing. Anyways. So that piece is very special to me as well. Like I said, I've been doing this for quite a while. Here they are. Okay, so there are some... Oh, I forgot to show you something. This is not part of the class, but I did another watercolor painting. The sun here is actually punched. Well, okay, so there's a hole here. The sun was added from the back. Just pieces of Scotch tape, and this is faux stitching. It's not real stitched thread. There's no thread on there. But I really like the way it turned out, and the trees are all pointillism, little dots. That was another part of my get well therapy. I love doing this stuff because you forget, you forget what ails you, and then you just art, and it's such a blissful place. I love it. Okay, so you have seen a lot of these pieces already, but I'm just going to show them to you just to let you know that they're all part of what you can do with the class. So this is a bookmark that was very popular on Instagram, which, by the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, maybe you should, because I need friends. I'm just kidding. But it's the best way to be in the know of everything that I do. So that is a bookmark that's also made with the watercolor carving technique. Here's another piece. Actually, this one was the most popular piece. I don't know why. It's not my favorite. I mean, I like it, but it's not my absolute favorite. But I guess people like the bubble trees. And there's like a waterfall. There's a lot of shimmer on here. I'm going to try and... Yeah. So you can see the shimmer. Really fun. This is another one. Again, the same technique. The face and the roses were all carved. Okay, there's one I can't show you because I'm showing it in the class, so I'd like to keep that as a surprise. I also have this. This one here is very simple, but I like it. Yeah, I like those trees. And there's also gold, because, it wouldn't be one of my projects without gold. So all these, I have more, but I don't want to show everything, but all these have been done with the same technique. Yes. I will put the link to the class below. Like I said, it's already up for pre-purchase, but it starts on, it will be available. You will be sent the class on April 10th. It's not using a lot of supplies, which is really good. Like, if you have some watercolor paints and some paper, you're pretty much in business. I also found out about the pans that you can purchase for the portable painter. I have a review on this. I would like the ability to interchange these pans, depending on what project I'm going to be doing, you know, on the road or whatever. And it turns out that the ones that I have did not fit in there. Well, someone found a source with a link, so I will share that. Actually, it's not a link. I found out that Daybook Studio watercolor paint pans on Amazon fit this palette. So thank you, Dion, for this bit of information. So if you are one of those that have purchased the portable painter, which is a great tool, by the way, I'm very excited to go and do some plein air with this. But it's great also to have the ability to interchange your pans depending on the project that you're going to be doing. So thank you, Dion. So that's it. Again, I want to reiterate the fact that I am not disappearing from YouTube. I will be making more videos that are not Patreon exclusive. Have no fear. It's just that I was doing the best that I could with the little energy that I had. So the past 2 months were a little bit challenging, but back on track, and I'm very excited and looking forward to it. I'm also going to dig into that beautiful Japan rack that I got that I showed in the last vlog. I just needed to get past this, you know, these past few months, and then I want to be focused when I use this stuff. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that as well. I have a book full of ideas that I found in my bookcase that I had forgotten about, so I will just go through them and just do what I wrote I was going to do years ago, and that I have never had time to. Anyways, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, I want to say a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, without whom I wouldn't be able to do this, and for sure they were quite a big source of comfort while I was recovering. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you that are commenting and subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and click on that little bell so that you know of any new videos that are that I publish, and click the like button as well. That also helps. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, and I will see you later. Bye. See, I'm a softie now. I go like this. That's boring. Bye.